Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I also want to thank all of the witnesses for your testimonies. As I listened, I know the value of nonprofits in my community. I know that the strength of nonprofits include their mission-driven work, as well as their commitment to transparency, accountability, and regulatory compliance. I know that organizations and individuals have constitutional rights to free speech, freedom of association, and due process. I know that today's hearing is not a serious effort at oversight. Republican leadership cannot earnestly seek to limit foreign influence in the public sphere when they only target groups with whom they disagree and ignore how the president welcomes foreign influence as long as he and his family profits. I mean, I grew up in rural Arkansas, and so I know how important the future farmers of America is. Yet this committee is pushing an investigation of the FFA because it receives funds from the same organization that donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to President Trump and Vice President Vance's inaugural committee. I know that there are real threats to our country and to the programs within this committee's jurisdiction that already exist. So I ask, when will this committee consider what whistleblowers revealed about DOJ's mishandling of data? When will this committee investigate the administration's efforts to weaponize the Internal Revenue Service, especially against organizations that disagrees with it? When will this committee examine the illegal halting of child care cash assistance and services funding to democratic states, all programs within the jurisdiction of this committee and actions that are all prohibited by statute? So, Mr. Weissman, could you speak more about effective instruments to address foreign influence and not using the government as a weapon against political adversaries?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Davis. I think there are two primary kinds of disclosure regimes that exist or should exist. One is the Foreign Agent Registration Act, which is an imperfect statute, which I would encourage this committee to look at for reform, but it does require the registration and the documentation of what people working for foreign governments or foreign principals are doing. This administration announced at the outset it would not enforce that law except in extreme circumstances. Then it said, yes, we will, in another set of limited circumstances, when we want to go after our political enemies. So that is wrong. We should end the weaponization of FARA and renew its actual enforcement. On the political, the election side, there is a problem with foreign money coming in, and we have no idea the scale of that. The solution for that is the Disclose Act, which would require these different forms we're talking about, C3, C4s, whatever, to disclose who, and effectively, and most importantly, the C4s, to disclose from whom they were receiving funding and to certify they are not receiving funding from foreign entities. I think if we move away from these individual cases and selecting out organizations based on political viewpoint and actually look at the policy issues, there should be room for agreement. Those are the top two things. The other last thing I would say is, as I've detailed in my testimony and mentioned in my oral statement, this administration is across the board obliterating the agencies that are in charge of dealing with foreign influence. So it should restore those agencies and let them do their job.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and I yield back, Chairman.